All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Gigabytes Tactical Tuesdays here. I'm Daniel, your host, with the Alpha Strike podcast. And today we're going to go over a little bit of vehicle embark, disembark, some little tricks of the trade kind of thing, and show you what you can and can't do with some vehicles. Show you how to do a couple different new maneuvers that you might not have never seen or you might know about and you can just refine from. So the idea that we're going to do is, speaking of transports and vehicles, we're going to do a little bit of the emergency disembark as well. So if a vehicle is destroyed, we're going to try to show you how to if you have enough troops or vehicles, you can stop people from getting out. But also, we're going to show you the other side of that on how to get out if someone tries to block you off. So the idea here is, let's go ahead and read over a little bit here from the rule book so everyone understands and follows along as we take step by step. If all models in the unit in their move within 3 inches of a friendly transport, they can embark within, remove the unit from the battlefield, and place it on once if embarked inside. Now, this is something that also got FAQ'd. We're coming out of combat and such like that. You may want to check the FAQ on that, and when you're falling back into a vehicle from combat after LVO last year, I know the FAQ popped up. So any transport has the ability to take troops across the board and utilize their movement, and you get extra movement for the most part with the transport and the disembarking process. The disembarking process is one that some people don't utilize to their full potential. By saying that, basically any unit that disembarks from a transport has the ability to get out 3 inches. Now, this is the big debate on that happened at the very middle or first start of 8th, and people didn't catch on and actually start using it until. So the big idea is it doesn't say fully within, it just says 3 inches disembark. So therefore, you actually get a little bit more extra movement coming out of transports or buildings because they have transport capacity.
Riley's like, I don't want it now.
Yeah, I know.
You got the post office.
You, Riley. You traitor.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and show you a little bit of what I'm talking about, and then we'll keep moving on to the vehicle transportation.
Probably holding it because he's not done. He probably just didn't finish that car.
Now, at any time during these episodes, I would love to have anyone that has any questions or comments to definitely hit me up. See if we can answer any questions while we're at it.
Yeah, if you send me his number, I'll try to talk to him and say, hey, he wants his car back. Send me the check.
So therefore, you actually get a little bit more extra.
If you got his personal number, give me his personal number. What's his name?
Now, at any time during these episodes,
Yeah, all right. And you have a relationship with him?
All these things nearly
Do you have a relationship with him? Do you know him?
all right. So what we're going to do here is the extra movement coming out of the vehicle here. First, I'm going to show you the actual movement process. Then I'm going to show you a little trick. So once you get out of this vehicle, you see my tape measures a little under 3 inches.
But they're the most difficult.
So this is where a lot of people have gotten this wrong in the past, and they try to measure, and they even trying to wrap vehicles, they try to stay within the 3-inch bubble here. That 3 inches is actually a little bit longer because it doesn't say wholly within. These are key phrases that normally you'd see in movement or aura abilities. So what I'm doing is I'm getting almost almost 3/4 of an extra inch from this guy here from the vehicle. So they can all pile out and go this way. Now here's a different approach to it as well that a lot of people haven't really caught on to. These vehicles don't have bases. Therefore, it's measured from any part of the whole. So you can actually take, and it says place your models, not move your models from when they're getting out of the transport. So basically what I can do is I can set them up here.
All right, I'll call them.
Because this is actually
The
within,
adjuster told you that they're sending the
outside of the 3-inch bubble, but they can still go, and because they're placed, not moved. They're placed here. These are little tricks that you're gonna be able to use. Say anyone that tries to come by and get you where they've got you in a corner and you can't get out to a certain extent, you have someone over here as well. You can always pop them up here as long as they're 1 inch away from the enemy. Now, on the other side of that is the disembarkment as well. I read you the embark, and it says as long as they move in their move within 3 inches. So it's the same concept here. As long as that base is within 3 inches, they can all hop in by rules and get out. Now let's go over a little bit about what I just showed you as well. Anyone that's trying to basically kill your troops in the inside here, if you have this full squad in here and they want to take the vehicle and kill it in close combat, but also kill your troops here. The idea behind this, get this out of the way for you. So the idea here is they're going to want to try to kill your troops. By doing so, they're going to have to first start off by trying to block you in. Again, this is where it's important to understand that you get out 3 inches from here, which is a little bit more than 3 inches technically. So as a player trying to block this in, I want to measure out where I'm 3 inches plus the 1 inch that you have to stay away. Now, when you do this, it's got to be very deliberate movements, because if you leave one hole, someone can get out. Now, when it comes to troops, obviously the troops' bases are very, varying. But let's look at this one, for instance. This is a Primaris Marine. His base is right at a little over 1 inch, obviously. So what you want to do, this is very important, because you can overextend yourself and put them in a position to come out. If I came up right here and I go full in, his guy can actually go all the way out here, and the whole squad can get out, staying 1 inch away from your troops. Now, if you bridge these guys out like this, put one guy within that inch, and then move these guys out just like so, because they are away from him, they still get to swing if they're contact. And now you've effectively blocked out every area. Battletech. Maybe we have Battletech on there that Gigahet was doing before. Let me check.
Those are like all of my favorite colors. And my wife was like, they're like, hey.
40K here. All right. Some of these other situations are very tricky because you have to have a precise movement, and this is where we've been going over some close combat movement and heroic interventions, things like that play heavily into trapping your opponent, maintaining your own ability to maneuver. And that's where you got to keep practicing. Like I've said in previous episodes, the movement phase, the close combat phase wise, is some of the strongest positions in the game right now and can make or break a game. Now, when you want to do things like soak up Overwatch, it's super huge because vehicles do a very good job at this. So obviously, target priority when you're coming in to, say, assault. If you use the vehicle to assault here, then your troops actually get in. That way they can get those swings in. They can maneuver around like we've been talking about without taking Overwatch. So this has already locked him in, and we've come in. This is also where we can start wrapping, just like we've been talking about in the last 2 episodes. So now he can't leave. He has to make some choices here on what he wants to do as far as to attack. He's not going to kill the Rhino, most likely, at this point, unless he has some rerolls there somewhere. But the idea is to soak up as much Overwatch with these vehicles, these transports, or these tanks as possible, especially if you have a tough version. Say, these guys here obviously have a high toughness profile, and they kind of want to get close to you. Obviously, if they're close, they can pin people in and hold stuff. Their toughness allows them to take a lot of Overwatch. So again, if you're trying to take Overwatch, use something that you definitely don't think they're going to kill. Don't give them the easy kill. Now, the other part of this here is we've already went over the movement out as well. So you can, if your guys were here, they could hop up here and be out of combat. Same thing with the characters that we went over. So we're going to reset here.
Like serious face. And I was like, whew, okay.
All right. So the embarkment and disembarkment for vehicles, we went over both those. We went over how not to get yourself wrapped. We also went on how to wrap your opponent. These are very crucial matters for you don't want these guys shot.
I'm good at it.
So we're wrapping this vehicle so it doesn't go anywhere.
I just imagine from now on I'm going to get in between you and anybody that happens with.
But you had Matt, though.
I
You
can
had
do-
his back.
Basically, we're going to pin it in, make sure it doesn't go anywhere, and now we can't be shot. So now that we have to be assaulted in order to get us away from this. This is very key because, again, we've went over this before. These are OBSEC, so if there's an objective here, we get the objective and they don't.
Yeah, it should still have the square. Now,
So I would like for anyone that has any questions or comments to definitely hit me up.
I appreciate you bringing it up here.
I know this is the holiday week, so we're trying
Okay, so
to,
just the square bits. Yeah.
didn't want to go too complex,
Yeah.
but we throw down some transport situations. The other side is transports that have hover or that fly away. These vehicles that have hover and fly, you can't block in, so they're going to obviously just fly away if that's the case. So what we're trying to do is Make sure you always measure out and see what their measurement is, and that's when we go ahead and figure out where they can and can't go. And you can block them off with other vehicles and basically make them go where you want to go, or where you want them to go, I should say. This dictates where objectives are, where secondaries may be, like recon or anything. If you block them out, very similar to blocking flyers out, but you make sure that they can't go anywhere unless you want them to go somewhere. So if this is all he has, he can either go backwards this way or backwards this way. And now you're pressing forward. So going back to the disembarkment phase as well, this is also the reason why, movement and stuff like that is very important. You want to make sure that you get max movement out of these, and then you get max movement out of your troops. The extra movement on troops has been such a useful tool with things like centurions or anything that are slow. So you've seen a lot of land raiders with them, or fortifications. Same thing with the flyers and things that have transportation spots, like the big Forge World or Raven or Storm Ravens. You measure from the hull on those, so it's very different unless it says measure from the base. If it says measure from the base, always do that, but if it says measure from the hull, that's when you are disembarking. Just like we went over with the Eldar, Dark Eldar stuff, it's always from the hull for the most part, with the exception of Venoms that actually says base. So that's a big one that people get wrong all the time, is they measure from the hull on disembarkment on those guys, but it's really from the base. So the other side of the embarking is it's a great way, especially in things like ITC or even Warzone kill points, where you're trying to deny people from getting those kill points, where you start putting them back in vehicles just so they can't be shot. If this guy got shot down to one troop and you throw him back in here, obviously that's a very good way of hiding that unit so he doesn't get shot off the board. The opposition to that is, trying to blow up vehicles in order to get the troops out, like pinata style. Focus firing on a transport just to get the troops out. You always want to make sure target priority is huge. On these transports, the higher volume of damage that's going into them obviously is going to, hopefully do the most work, and then you pop out the little guys here within 3 inches, and then now you have targets with the lower guns. So with all that, is there any other questions? And I had some that came in, personal message here that I've already taken care of. A lot of these videos, I'm trying to stay as close to the topic as possible on, moving on. So I've got a couple in line that I've had asked about, but I'm trying to make sure that they fit into what we're doing at the time. These right here, they've been consistently trying to follow the close combat. So definitely let me know if you have anything that you're looking at. and we can go from there. But I am going to go and say, hope everyone has a safe and happy Thanksgiving this week. I'll be traveling out myself later on this week, and we're going to try to get an episode of the Alpha Strike here, hopefully tomorrow. We'll get it recorded and have it out for everyone that's traveling on the weekend or the Thursday, and have it out for your listening. If you guys have any gift ideas or anything like that, Gigabytes is also running Black Friday deals, so you may want to stay tuned and hit up Giga as soon as possible with all the coolness that they got out. And obviously chapter approved and all that's coming out, so make sure you come by and get all your reserved with the Psychic Awakening. And we'll hit you up next week and hopefully have some more questions and get some more tutorials in for you. So I hope you guys are enjoying these. Let us know on Facebook and see what we can do about getting some more people up here, and we'll have some interaction with players soon once we get another camera as well. So thanks, guys.